Good morning. Give me a second here. Just looking at the SPX premiums, kind of surprised. All right. Can I get into the green room? Rob, I didn't send out the link. Log into the member area. And the updated link is in the member area. I mentioned in the room yesterday that was going to change. All right. So what caused the sell-off? Good news is bad news. Good news is bad news. So the job unemployment number came out and it was better than anticipated. Log into the member area thing. You'll see a new login. That's what I'm going to be doing this each month now. It says you can't log in. That's another story. We'll see about that. You might try closing your browser, restart it, clear your cache. Alex is adding that large salary gains, people getting paid more money. You know, the whole idea with inflation is for people to have less money, spend less money. Businesses be hurt. Of course, people go out of business. Economy slows down. Isn't that government's job to hurt us at the appropriate time? I'm kidding, but you know, the people at the controls didn't pay attention and things got out of hand. Now, you know, they're doing right the best with their tools that they say they had all the tools before where it wouldn't get out of hand. And anyway. So 10-year down here to this level where when it topped out, we thought it would come down to and begin to make a turn. So now we see it's beginning to make a turn. Right? The day is not over. And we got a reversal, but it's the beginning of the day. So we don't know if it'll happen here. And we'll see as it goes into next week, whether this actually holds on. Of course, this is going up. The market's going down. We'll see if the market stays down, at what level it goes down to before buyers show up, and so on. Right? Intermarket analysis is a very important and critical part of knowing what's happening in the market these days. I mentioned before, at some point it will, it'll be something else. It won't be the dollar, right? So the dollar down at major support, and you can see by my cursor, looks like a breakdown failure. And clearly we're going to see how far this goes. Now, when this topped out and the market rallied, the idea was at the time that prices, the dollar would come down to this major support level, right? That's what we look to the left, and it would stabilize there, and that would be a headwind for the market. Now, when the Fed chair spoke his magic words and the market rallied, we're not totally throwing that out the window yet. It's all about retracements. So we've had lots of conversations the last several days, in the last week or so, is the low in? And it's like, I don't know if the low of lows is in, but our MTS strategies conversation was, look, if the markets rally significantly from the low back up to the prior high, that's a greater probability that the low is in, because we know another correction will come. And so the deeper prices retrace, from a low point back up to where it fell from, right? It's got a larger distance to fall back. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, you give us those likes and loves and nice comments there while you're there. So this down here, where expectation was it would make a turn, right? We didn't know whether it would stop here, whether it goes down to this pivot low or whatever. And look, I always throw two scenarios out there because you have to. You can't get so, tied to one thing that you think ultimately this is it. All right. A lot of times it plays out that way. But just like here, where this was making the turn and it looked like it was going to go up, I said, okay, fine. But if this turns out to be a green bar ignored, right, the market will rally. And that's what happened. So now we have this move down, and now this thing is flipping back up. And for the moment, it looks like a breakdown failure in the area of this turn, which would make sense. Right? It kind of didn't make sense that this would make the turn before getting down there, but it does happen. I mean, ideally, it happens right at the level that we know it should. So now we're going to see if this, holds here. Does it today stay negative, and so on? So dollar up, interest rates flipping back up. And now what is the 13-week doing? So I just heard some commentary. They're kind of like flip-flopping now between half and three quarters on the next interest rate hike based on this news. So we'll see. Let it pull back a bit. All right. This was interesting for myself, that the internals on this day just kind of hang up there after this big bar, that they really didn't move. Now, the intraday, right, that was good, right? That was good, getting up above 10,000. And as you know, we've always talked, these kind of momentum moves, they create these price voids, which are the weakest link. And so this little overlapping area right here was the support. And I believe it's down below that right now. So if we go to spiders, because this doesn't move pre-market, and we see this is just above 400, and I think it tagged it, right? The low was right at 400, which is, you can see a little bit past the halfway mark of this bar, which is okay. It's based on our thought process, right? Power bar. We want to see it stay in the upper half, ideally the upper third, but moves lower, right? The tail of the bar could be down here. If it closes down here today, that throws a wrench in the whole idea of the bullish scenario, because just like retracements, thinking about the low, right? Is this the low? And when we talk about retracements, I said, well, if this could rally up to 420, that would be, a significant retracement from this, high down here and back up again. And then the probability of maybe making a higher low, if you can kind of see it in your mind's eye, like a head and shoulders top, the next correction, which still isn't out of the window, but, going into next year, let's just say that this is the start of some other correction. And, it comes down, and we did see a head and shoulders bottom, right? Where, bottoming patterns typically have strong rallies like this, and they fall apart again. That's pretty commonplace. And then, you get the next rally, and then possibly a higher low or whatever it's going to be. But that is part of a bottoming process. V bottoms after, corrections like that are less typical. Whereas having a pattern like this that maybe corrects and then makes a higher low is more typical. So we'll see, we're going to have to see where today all ends up here. But look, at the end of the day, no matter what you see, in these smaller time frames, if it's closing down here, that's not going to be a good sign. And as far as any continuation to the upside, if it's a bottoming tail bar, well, then that will be much better, right? Pretty simple. So SPX, well, they just zeroed it. Son of a bitch. I was seeing premiums up at 4,100. If anybody else, I'd have to open up another platform. But anyway, I think that isn't going to happen today. And if this continues to drop, I mean, you want to be below yesterday, this big bar's low or thereabouts. Remember, yesterday was up here. And so it never got there. Yesterday did what we anticipated, a go nowhere day. But up here at 4,100, highly unlikely it's getting back up there today. It's down here. So I don't think it can get back there. Let's see. I haven't looked at this in a while. I haven't adjusted it. Let's zero it out too. All right. All right, so that's pushing down into the bar. There's nothing to stop it. This is, a concept, power bar, but the weakest link. There's nothing to stop it from going down. So it has to create support where there isn't any. And this is where your fib people, VWAP people, planetary alignment people start looking at, oh, look at that magic. Right? Yeah, Condor, Javier, that certainly makes sense today. It's like, oh, my trader pivot line. No, it wasn't your trader pivot line. It was my symmetry of my Fibonacci overlapping between so on and so forth with a square of 9 routed around 13. I was like, oh, how about it just created support? And we call that a pivot low. And it would retest it, and there was a wide range bar. All right, go about it any way you want. But look, now we've got a void up above and we've got a void down below. And so if it can stabilize here, right? So we've got these two opposing forces, so to speak, right? We've got this supply and we've got, it's not supposed to move. We've got this area of demand. And the idea is, okay, monster move up. I'm bullish. Whatever, I'm taking some profit. Someone else is bearish, right? I'm selling, I'm taking advantage of the rally. Okay. Those that are caught long up here, or those that have more to sell that didn't, they're like, okay, I want out of this. I don't like what's happening. It's hanging here. It's making a pivot. Right? It's making this possible turn. Those that are bullish, oh, that's pulled back far enough. I want to get in. So you see, we're in like an area here where those that would like, hey, let it come down here, I'll buy more. Let it come up here, I'll sell more. It's in the middle, which is going to be good enough. So as it goes sideways there, building this level, who blinks? Does it go down here or does it go up there? I don't know. So we look to see how this develops over a period of time. Right now, the newest information is a power bar down. This is old. So it's going to be a little tough here at the get-go. And we could look at semiconductors. They were strong. Do they start falling apart? We could look at individuals. This was the stronger. Now it's the weaker, and it's almost down to the bottom of that bar. This turns out to be a failure at resistance. That would all make sense, but maybe the whole thing begins to unfold into other markets. So it's tricky. It's, no doubt about it. You couldn't discount this monster bar on the PAL news, but it was freaking news. You didn't do anything. It's just me thinking like, wow, look at this market going like a maniac here, but you ain't going to argue with it. And so now we've got these patterns that are in question. And Dan will look at individual stocks, but everything starts to become in question. Bitcoin, right? Still bearish down here, but flip-flopping around. The transports, which were a little bit of a shining light there. I don't know what they're doing, but this could be an M top. I don't know yet. We'll see what this does today. We looked at interest rates. We looked at the dollar. This is down low enough. That's flipping back up. I mean, it didn't get down here all the way down there, but he's saying we're going to have to follow McCarthy's wife's trading account. All right. And thing playing with me, anchored VWAP at 932. Who the hell knows? Right? People follow so many things. Hey, maybe there's an Ichikumi cloud lurking under there somewhere. Bottom line is, does it make support and which way does it go? So I think that's about it. It's going to be a little touch and go here at the open. This is up into resistance, and gold's still looking good. Anyway, take it away, Dan. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Yep, so we're range bound here. I was on the bullish camp yesterday, but we did a great job taking profits, trailing stops, getting out of a number of things, lessening inventory. So yeah, there you have it. Void up and down, like you said. So we're range bound right now. Let's go to earnings trades. We did 2 of them. I did a couple more myself, but I gave AMBA, we did the 59 under the 50 MA, so it's gapping the 70. It expires today. We still have 11 points of cushion. So I guarantee you we got a nice profit at the open. We sold it for 60. And then we did this CHPT. We sold the 10.5s. Again, gapping down a little bit, but we're going to have an open profit. I did a couple others, IoT, a couple others, but I won't bore you with those. Let's go to the top here. Earnings, Marvel. It was a bullish pattern. Remember the rule? We don't want the retracements to go more than 40%. But this one was adequate if it took out the high. Now it's bearish. So yeah, we're gonna have these gap breakouts all over the place now, and it's using the same retracement rules is gonna determine relative strength or weakness of which ones are worse or stronger on the retracement. Anything with today's gap holding the upper 40%, just as a general statement, is relative strength right now. I actually did, I think, yeah, I did the 160s myself on this. So again, these are gapping against me, but I'm going to have an open profit because of volatility contraction. I still have $22 at cushion. And that's why I've also lately been favoring condors. Because then you're taking in twice the premium. And I was looking at the 220s also, but it didn't have enough juice. Alta, There was not enough juice. I don't know what to do with that now. Zulu Sierra 127, bearish gap, but it's just range bound. Well, Mitch, excellent question. It's not, the answer is yes. You always have volatility contraction by definition, but it's not going to be as significant for the longer dated options, without a doubt, without a doubt. And that's why we favor shorter term options, against the saying of, other mechanical option traders who just claim, you can't read charts, just mechanicals, sell 45-day options to give you time to maneuver. No, that's not us. All right, this is a beautiful gap breakout, but see, it's a little big for me. It's 14 to the high end, but this is a watch on a pullback. Look, I mean, it's still in a nasty downtrend, but notice how momentum has slowed. So that's a potential bottoming pattern. I'm going to keep an eye on it. All right, IoT 1180. So this was one I sold puts on too. Let me see if I forget how many days. Yeah, this one's similar, Mitch. This is IoT. It has 14 days to expiration because that's all they had. I didn't have a choice. But at least this one's gapping in my direction. So with 95% confidence, I'm going to be able to get out at a nickel. I already sent a bid out. That's why many times you hear these bells going off on my computer in the morning, because I got pre-market things. Yeah. So this is the one we just talked about. So we still have $1.30 of comfort. Smart 35.90, gaps too big, top end of the range. But I mean, I repeat this because we have new people coming in all the time. But I have just a snippet of weekly and monthly chart here, and then if I want to make them bigger to see more data. So they're not in agreement, because I got all these overlapping bars on the weekly. But what got my attention was this is a potential double bottom on the monthly with a new low plus, and it's just starting possibly to stabilize. But I watch enough stuff. I like path better. And next week we're going to be doing, do you all see how this weekly is superior to SMAR? Do you see that? So I just told Greg we're going to do next Wednesday's MT Live on picking, I call it the optometrist test, A versus B. This is a superior weekly over this. You see that? So that's why I'm not interested in SMAR. I like path better. Asian. It would have been a bullish pattern over yesterday's high for a put spread. Now it's getting down $16. Now it's bearish. So SMAR, no interest. AMBA. Oh, that's the one we're in. Papa Delta 2340. It's range bound mass. It could be a condor. No pattern. Zoom Z 2050 gapping down here. I don't know. It's bearish, but no good pattern. Sol, better call Sol, no pattern. Tilius, no pattern. AOUT, light volume, the way it trades. But see, I want to look at see that? I wanted to look at more data on my weekly. It's a bottoming pattern. It's a gap breakout from a bottoming pattern on the weekly. So it's extended on the daily. And you just got to decide if you want to watch it for a week or so on a pullback. But again, I in my head, I'm ranking the quality because I'm already watching hundreds of things and I don't need to watch all that. All right, Kerbal. Ugly gap, but it's in the middle of no man's land. I have no idea what that's going to do. GCO looks like that would be a call spread idea right there. All right, I got filled. All right, I got filled on my IoT at two cents, I think. Let's see what I was bidding. No, I was bidding a nickel. So yeah, I got out of IoT at a nickel. All right, this one, no pattern. Kirk, no pattern. Well, yeah, I just talked about it that it's weak. So 30-minute low or some type of sell setup. Yeah, it's a breakdown daily, weekly, sure. All right, Vive, I'm bidding 10 cents. That's me on the bid to get out. They're ridiculous spreads. But I have a huge profit on Vive despite the gap down. Hey, Robert. All right, let's check this CHPT. Oh, where are you? This was 70 TE. All right, it's 10 cents by 24. So we have an open profit. Well, now it's 10 by 16. So you have a guaranteed profit. So it just depends. All right now it's 12 cents you can get out. Ah, shit, I was just about to pop the 12s and they lifted it. Oh, I got filled at 12 anyway. All right, even though they lifted the offer, I got filled at 12. So CHPT, 10, 11, 12, whatever. Yeah, I was saying bid a nickel. Oh, AMBA. Let me take a look at AMBA. AMBA expires today. Oh, I didn't have a bid out for this one, but we have a huge open game. Why didn't I bid? Yep, zero. Okay, so I'm gonna buy the $60 puts to get a free put spread. All right, so I've taken my money. I've hedged. Yeah, so Russell, I did the same, but I did it with a free put spread. So, we've talked about how to do that before. And if you want another lesson, we can do it later. CHPT. See, I'm just sorry, we're getting a bounce here. So, buyer stepped up. All right, this V of mine's being a problem just because it's spreading. All right, I got out at 30, took small gain. That's an ugly gap, so I just got rid of it. All right, so we're done with earnings trades. Let's see what else is cooking. All right, ARQQ alarm. All right, it was an early alarm, so we're still in it. XPEV? Why do I have an alarm in this? Hey, look at XPEV ripping. I had an alarm at 11, just went off. If somebody wants to check out EVs, see if something's going on in the EV land. All right, Neopod, yeah, something's up with EV stocks. If someone wants to do a quick look, I'm too busy. Too busy managing this stuff. CCI. We got we're short puts, but a little breakout failure. Coup, we're short puts, but it's fine. A blink alarm this morning, but we're short to 12.5s. It's fine. Damn, but Alex. Oh, that's up alarm. That's a put spread of mine that I entered in error, actually, meaning I did the wrong days to expiration. But Calyx looks great if it closes like this for direction now. For Monday.